Should you bulk or should you cut? Okay, I'll let you know. I'm not an expert. I'm an exercise physiology student. By no means am I an expert in the field. I just like to share things that I have learned and I am learning on my journey to being the best fitness person I could possibly be. So I'm just going to share tips along the journey. Okay, so starting off, should I bulk or should I cut? So when you ask that question, right, a lot of times people just assume it's calories, right? It's not just calories. It is just a matter. It's a lot of different things, right? So if we think of maintenance, right, say this is maintenance. We have our muscle and we have our fat, right? Say we have equal. We're like just good. We have our muscle and our fat. Let's say that this is maintenance. So we have maintenance, okay? Now let's say we do a cut, okay? And then let's say we have a bulk, okay? Well, if we think about what a lot of people do is they'll just keep the same muscle, right? Especially on a cut, assuming you're natural, assuming you're not on steroids, right? And have the cut, and then they'll just decrease the fat, right? So it's like same muscle, but less fat. You look more jacked, right? And on a bulk, they'll assume that they have here, right? They'll increase muscle, okay? But also, they'll increase their fat. So both of these will go up. It'll look similar to here, but it's actually higher, right? So they'll have their fat and they'll have their muscle, but it'll just be higher, right? But what a lot of people don't realize is there's another thing, there's more things you can do, right? You don't have to do a cut or bulk, because a lot of people, when they think bulk, they just think, oh, if I work out the same and I do everything I'm doing now and I just increase my calories, I'm going to just get super jacked, right? Or in the same way, if I cut down and I just do the same thing I'm doing, I'm just going to look so good, right? Well, there's a preface there, right? Because if you want to cut, you need to have some muscle to take the fat off of. So the thing is, like, you need muscle, right? And if you're going to bulk, right, and then same thing here, you need protein. Like, if you don't eat any protein and you just cut, you're going to lose muscle too, because on a cut, you might actually trim down some of that muscle at the same time. And on a bulk, you might add more fat than you really want, and the ratio of fat, you might actually go over, right? And this is where you end up with people that look just crazy. I was one of them, right? Insert picture here, okay? So when you bulk or cut, there's a couple things you could do, right? When we think of the word gaintain or maintain or whatever it is, like be maintenance and gain, right? Just be right here, right? Because let's think about it, okay? Because if the goal is to have more muscle than we have fat and look good, right? If we can maintain our body fat and increase our muscle mass, then we can get the effect of a cut and a bulk at the same time. Right now, then there's a couple different things. Not everyone can gain If you're Chris Bumstead, you're not going to gain If you're someone that's a super advanced lifter, you're not going to gain It's not going to happen, right? But if you're someone that, there's a couple different things. If you're someone that doesn't eat amazing protein every day, is not really super consistent with their diet, and is someone that doesn't lift that hard. A lot of people that think they need to go on a freaking bulk, they don't even work out hard enough, right? Like, they literally don't even work out hard enough, okay? So if you're somebody that isn't super crazy consistent in the gym, I would recommend to you, before you go on a crazy bulk and literally get obese, fat, unhealthy looking, okay, maybe increase your protein way more, right? Because if you're not, right, if okay, let's see if you qualify to be a gain participant, right? If you qualify to gain, here's some criteria you would think about if you're someone who might want to gain versus here. If you don't, let's say this, when to gain, I should gain if, okay, don't eat 1 gram pound protein, okay, don't lift near MRV, don't lift 5 to 6 days a week. New lifter, right? If you're a new lifter, someone who doesn't lift 5 to 6 days a week, someone who doesn't lift near their MRV set volume, their maximal recoverable volume or their maximal adaptable volume. If you don't know what that is, look up Mike Israetel set volume, right? Dr. Mike RP. That is a great video. Talk about set volume, maximum. Look up set volume, right? If you aren't lifting near your MRV and you think you need to go in a bulk, you actually probably just need to lift more, okay? Or you're someone who doesn't eat a gram of protein per pound of body weight. Like if you're 150 pounds and you're eating 80 grams of protein, you don't need to bulk. You need to just get your nutrition in order, right? So if you are any of these, before you try to go on a crazy bulk and end up hating yourself when you look in the mirror because you're fat now. And here's the thing too. If you're not someone that's got crazy amounts of muscle mass, if you put on body fat, you're going to look freaking terrible. Because a lot of times, a lot of people might think they need to bulk to put on muscle, and you might have a little bit of muscle. Maybe you need to cut and just like see yourself without body fat on you for once in your life, and then be like, okay, let's say you cut down first, right? Like let's say the progression. I would say before you think about going on a bulk, because I mean, once you get fat, I mean, you don't look good. I mean, like seriously, like it's just like you're not in a. It's like the goal is to like how you look, right? So if you can get yourself in a position where you like how you look, you don't need to go through that whole bulk shit where you just like don't like how you look. Like the goal is to have muscle to enjoy your body. So we need to figure out how to enjoy our body, right? So why don't we just start, right? Let's say the progression here, right? I would say the progression would be 1, okay, am I any of these, right? Because if not, you don't have to do cut or bulk. You can just stay where you're at and do the lifting stuff and get your nutrition order. You can keep the same calories, right? But increase your protein, increase how much lifting, increase the intensity you're lifting at, right? And lift more times, right? And do that until like you're just not getting any bigger. You're plateauing out. You're tired all the time. Like you're not like it's not working. But this is like years. I mean, you can literally, if you max out your lifting and you're eating a ton of protein, the carbs and fats are gonna come. But I mean, most people who think they need to cut, or most people asking me the question, do I cut or bulk? Or most people thinking like they need to start like I'm gonna cut or bulk. Like if you're unless you're super advanced, you probably need to just do more lifting and you probably need to just eat more protein. And all shit. Because the most advanced people, like I've never went through a cut or like I've just worked out all the time. Right? And anytime I've tried to do a bulk or I end up just literally looking fat. And then the goal is to like look good. So don't do that. Okay, but let's think about progression we should go through if we should cut or bulk. Number 1. Do I need to? Because if you don't need to cut or bulk, don't. Like if you just like look decent, okay, if you just like decent body fat, like you just like look alright. Boom. Gain. That's the way. Greg Doucette, gain. You don't listen to these people like that tell you need to do all this bulk and shit. No. Like you probably just need to work out harder and eat more protein. That's number 1. 2. Let's say I want to cut or bulk. Let's say I'm a decently advanced lifter and I want to get better results. Okay. Which one do I do? If you have body fat, like if you have to the point where you know, like if you're not shredded, I would cut first, right? I would say body fat, cut first, right? Because if you have body fat and you just like cut down, you increase your protein, high protein, you're lifting, because assuming this is already true, right? You're lifting, you have high protein, you cut down, your body fat's low, you might cut down and be like, oh shit, I like how I look. Because reality is, if you cut 10 pounds of fat, you're going to look 10 pounds bigger. But if you put on 10 pounds of fat, you might gain 3 pounds of muscle, but you're going to look 20 fucking pounds less because you're not going to look as muscular. When you're cut up, you have definition and you're jacked, right? Like, look at Greg Doucette, IBFF pro bodybuilder. Like, some of these guys are 160 pounds, 150 pounds, but they're like just diced to the core, and they're 165 pounds at like 3% body fat. So when you're at super low body fat, you can see your muscles, and that's the goal. If you can't see your muscles, it doesn't matter how much muscle you have, you're going to look pudgy, you're going to look soft. You don't want to look soft. Okay, so number 2 would be, hey, do I need to cut or bulk? Okay, or can I just do like can I just like lift more and eat more protein? Like, is that even something I could just do? Because a lot of times you know the answer. You know your ass isn't good with the diet. You know your ass isn't lifting hard enough, but your ass wants to pretend, you would be like, oh, it's bulk, winter arc. You're just trying to give yourself an excuse to be fat. Don't do that, because you're not going to like it when you're fat and the girls don't want to talk to you. I'm being serious. So I would say you should be like, hey, if I have body fat on me, if you reach down and you can grab a love handle, right, and you don't have a six-pack, if you could reach down and grab your love handles, the goal is you should probably cut first and just see yourself with a six-pack in veins before you decide to get fat. Because I've done it. I've been fat. Don't do that. Don't do it to yourself, all right? Now, let's say you cut down. Boom. Cut down. Check mark. I have a six-pack now. If you want more muscle mass, bulk slowly, okay? Because here's the thing, right? A lot of people think that you like the more calories you eat. I eat like a 10,000 calorie surplus, this 10,000 Michael Phelps diet. There's only, like, if you think of how muscle growth works, right? Like let's go up here. Can I see this shit? Yeah. So, like, if we go up here for muscle growth, right? Muscle growth, like, if we're here, if we work out all of our muscles, right? We work out all of our muscles. We recover. Or let's say, we work out our muscles, we recover. We work out all our muscles, recover. It's like having a baby. You can't, like, make a woman have a baby in 2 months. There's just certain things, like, you have to work out, recover, work out, recover. You have to work your muscles, let them build. Work your muscles, let them build. Like, it's a process that has to happen. Like work out, recover. Work out, recover. Like, it's a process that has to happen. Okay? So, if you increase your freaking calories by a lot, this process is going to happen at the same rate. Because let's say if your lifting and protein is perfect, as long as you give your body enough extra calories to build tissue, it's going to build it probably at the same rate as if it's a 250 calorie surplus or a 10,000 calorie surplus. Hear me out. A lot of people get this wrong. Because if you don't, right? Because let's think about it. If we fucking have bulk, okay? Let's say we're going to add this much muscle. Well, if our calorie surplus can be 250 or 10,000 when we gain the same amount, if we're going to gain this much, right, wouldn't we just want to gain like a little bit of fat versus this much fat? Because by the time we've added this much muscle, I mean, we're going to be so fat that we have to, we have to just do a crazy cut. Maybe when we cut, we're like losing muscle. So it's like we end back at square one if we gain too much fat, because it's like, what's the point? The goal is to gain muscle so we look good, right? What's the freaking point at that point? Okay, so what I would recommend, okay, in my progression, all right, is slow bulk. So do I need to bulk? Yes or no? Or cut, whatever. If you have body fat, do a cut first. See how you look. Do I look good? Cool. Because maybe if you cut, you're actually like, oh, I got six-pack? Okay, like, I'll just chill here. And I can chill here and main gain with this, and I'll be chilling. But go 3. Let's say you cut down, okay? You cut down, and you're like, all right, I want to gain some muscle. I want to get huge. Don't mind putting on a little bit of body fat. Here's what we're going to do. Slow bulk. Okay, and what I mean by slow bulk is 1 gram pound body weight protein. Okay, so if I'm 150 pounds, I'm eating 150 plus grams protein. Now, carbs. I want 1 gram to 2 or 3 grams. So I'm going to say if I'm 150 pounds, 150 grams protein, I'm going to say 250 grams carbs. And then the rest, fat. Assuming you're lifting, that might put you in a 250 calorie surplus if you're just working out and not a bunch of cardio. Don't skimp on the carbs, because carbohydrates are what give your muscles fuel, right? If we think of muscles, okay, I'll fucking write this shit. All right. If we think of muscle, just look at my muscle, okay? when we use our muscle, right? This is why I can't stand keto, because I was a keto person, right? When I sat in class and I'm learning about like, oh, how are muscles fueled, right? When you like exert force from your muscles, right? They're fueled by glycogen. There's glycogen stores, and how do you get glycogen in your muscle? It's fueled by carbohydrates. So if you skimp on the carbs, right, your body's gonna convert your 3 macros, right? Protein, carbs, fats. Okay, after carbohydrates, the next thing it's going to take is protein. So if you go keto and you take out your carbs, fat is not going to take. It's not going to take fat. Like zone 2 cardio will take fat, or a calorie deficit will take fat. But if you're trying to work out, if you're working out, it's not going to take the fat. So what's going to happen? That's going to happen. Your body's going to say, fuck you, because it's going to take your protein, right? And you're not going to look good. So you don't want to do that. You want to have enough carbs. If you're going to slow bulk, you want a lot of carbs, right? And you're going to look more jacked, because when you fill up your muscles with glycogen, like, they're filled up. That's the point, okay? So, like, again, I'm not a freaking expert, but this is just stuff that I picked up and learned, and, like, it's real. Eat carbs before your workout and see how much different you look. And then the next day, wake up, don't eat anything, and then go work out. You'll see which one you feel better, which one you look better, right? 100%. So let me know. Don't just take my word for it. Do it. Show me. Let me know. You'll see. Okay? And then so here we do a slow bulk, high protein, high carb, fat, low fat. I don't care. If you eat your protein and you just like, you're going to eat carbs, just eat some carbs, and then just like don't be a fat ass, right? Keep your calories in a certain range. So like, again, so decent macros, but 250 to 350 surplus. Okay? That's the progression I would go on, right? Because if you're lifting right, so assuming you're lifting really hard, your protein's super high, you're lifting 5-6 days a week, you're killing it, you're sleeping well, all this, okay? And then you've already said, okay, hey, I'm already doing all the big things right. I've already cut down. I already know that I actually have enough muscle. I've seen my muscle, right? I actually look good. I like how I look in the mirror, but I want to gain some more muscle. Do it slowly. Do it slowly, because if you're doing it slowly and you're controlled, it's going to teach you how to deal with your macros. It's going to teach you how to understand. It's going to teach you the lessons of protein and carbs, understanding how the macros work, not just freaking force feed yourself Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Like, you're not Sam Sulek. You're not a pro bodybuilder. You're probably in high school, or you're probably somebody who just wants to look good in the mirror, and you don't need this like crazy ass surplus. You just probably need to eat more protein, work out harder, and eat a little bit more carbohydrates, and eat just a slight surplus. Because when you're in a slight surplus, it'll teach you the lessons of tracking this. It'll teach you the big things: lift hard, sleep, eat protein, okay? But as you gain body fat and muscle, right? So we're not going to get this. We're not going to get all this. We'll maybe have more muscle, more fat. And hey, maybe we will gain a little bit more fat than we do muscle. Maybe we will. But it's a lot easier to just put a pause in the bulk, take a couple weeks, go in a deficit, knock it down, and then keep going with both, right? Because we can just keep going, right? But if you go crazy, right, and you gain a little bit of muscle, but you freaking eat the planet and you become fat, that's a lot harder to fix. Because think about how much time you got to take away from gaining muscle now to lose this and lose this. And then that's weeks and weeks and weeks. Versus if you just did it slowly, you're probably going to gain the same amount of muscle anyway, right? Like, I mean, come on. Like, there's a process. It takes time. So you can't rush this shit. So you can't, don't just stuff your face with garbage thinking you just, oh yeah, bulk. Like, think it out. Is that actually going to help you gain muscle? I doubt it. No, I don't doubt it. I know it's not going to. I've done it. I've seen other people, like, just damn near become genuinely unhealthy individuals, like, as a result. And you're in the gym, you're working out because you want to look good, right? And let's even say this, right? I'll give you, I'll humor you, okay? Here's even another one. If you're not supplementing before you even do anything crazy, right? The checkbox. All right, let's put a checkbox in here of what some things we can do. Boom, do I need it? Bulk fat cut, slow bulk. Before we even think we need to do all these calories, let's do this. Add 10 grams creatine a day. Add 10 grams of creatine a day. I'm telling you, you get low body fat, or you're at a decent body fat, maybe 10, 12, 15%, okay? And you start eating a gram of protein per pound of body weight. You start lifting your MRV volume. You start lifting 5-6 days a week. You add a ton of carbs into your workout. You lower the fats a little bit. You add more carbs, okay? And maybe your fats are like, if you're 150 pounds, right? Like, or you're 160, like, I would say fats, 20%. I would say carbs, I would say 50%. And I would say protein, 30% of your calories. Real shit. Okay? Or even like 40, like even 40, 20, or like, you know what I mean? A gram per pound of body weight, carbs, high, fats, not really that important. All right? If you're getting 10%, 12, 15%, that's enough. That's more than enough. Okay? But then you add on 10 grams creatine, and you've never done any of this. Because a lot of times if you're like, oh, I need to bulk, like if you've done bulks and shit before, like you've actually manipulated your macros, you probably are just like, yeah, duh, Riley, duh. But if you're someone that's like new, if you start lifting hard, start lifting more frequently, get your macros in order, get your sleep in order, and you start taking 10 grams of creatine a day and drinking more water, you're going to look insane. Okay, so to close out, before you do a bulk, do I need to? Answer that question, because it's probably no. If you are going to do one or the other, cut first. Do a cut first. Okay? Once you cut down and you're at a reasonable body fat percentage, if you want to bulk, do it slowly. 250 calorie surplus, 1 gram per pound of body weight, maybe 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, maybe 1 to 2 grams of carbs per pound of body weight, 20% of your calories from fat, 10 grams creatine a day, and just do that shit for like 8, 9, 10 weeks, then see where you're at. Because worst case, you just cut some of that fat off. And then you want to keep cutting that fat off? You keep cutting the fat off, and you can just maintain the muscle as long as your diet's in check, right? So no harm. Worst case, you can go back to the bulk once your body fat's good. But it's much easier to just keep the muscle and just trim some fat off with a slight, because same here. Say you like it. Instead of 250 surplus, go to negative 250 deficit or negative 500 deficit, right? Keep the protein high, keep the carbs high, take the calories from the fat, right? And then you'll be good, right? And because it's much easier to do that. And then once you're ready, okay, boom, put the fats back in the diet, put a little bit more fat, a little bit more carbs, a little more protein, bump it back up, you can gain some more body fat, and you'll probably gain a little bit more muscle. No harm, no foul. Okay, so that's the progression I would go through if I was going to give advice to you, or even to myself, on someone who's like, oh, do I bulk, do I bulk? You probably don't need to. And I would try to follow this before you make a decision. Because what's the worst thing that could happen? Nothing. But the worst thing that could happen if you just do a crazy bulk is you like look in the mirror and like you hate yourself because you're fat. Okay, so hopefully this helps. Have a good day.